The movie Nobody employs a straightforward formula: non-stop action from start to finish, culminating in an explosive ending that hints at the potential for a future franchise. However, the conclusion of Nobody leaves room for speculation, suggesting that plans for Nobody 2 might already be in motion. The film revolves around Hutch Mansell, a retired assassin who has transitioned into a devoted family man. The storyline: when two intruders invade his home one night and he fails to protect his family, Hutch's dormant desire to fight is reignited. This ultimately leads him to provoke Yulian Kuznetsov, a dangerous Russian mobster portrayed by Alexei Serebryakov. In order to safeguard his loved ones, Hutch is forced to return to his former lethal lifestyle. At the end of Nobody, Hutch's brother Harry and his father David, who is also a retired assassin, come to Hutch's aid. Together, the Mansell family takes down every member of Kuznetsov's mob. The movie's final scene takes place a few months later, showing Hutch and his wife Becca purchasing a new home and striving for a fresh start. However, the narrative takes a suspenseful turn when Hutch receives an enigmatic phone call suggesting that he is once again involved in the lethal business. The identity of the caller and their motives remain unknown, but this tantalizing twist perfectly sets the stage for a potential sequel to Nobody. Who called Hutch and what it meant in the Nobody ending? In the final scene of Nobody, an unexpected action hero named Hutch, accompanied by his wife Becca, is shown around a new home by a realtor. Initially, it appears to be a moment indicating that Hutch has fully left behind his former life and is fully committed to his family. However, the atmosphere shifts abruptly when the realtor receives two consecutive phone calls. Encouraged by Becca, she answers the phone, and to their surprise, the call is intended for Hutch. This prompts Hutch and Becca to inquire about the presence of a basement in the house. Previously, when their family was in peril, Hutch had safeguarded them in a secure basement. His reaction to the phone call implies that he will soon return to his previous line of work, although with certain distinctions this time around. Hutch earlier quit the game out of jealousy for an older Mark who had married and started a family. Hutch discovered everything, but it's evident that the life of a white picket fence is not for him. Nobody begins with a brief montage of Hutch's monotonous existence and marriage over the course of 3 weeks. On the night of the heist, his boredom prevented him from defending his family. Nonetheless, it was his response to that event that made him realize how much he missed his previous existence. If Nobody gets a sequel, Hutch might come to terms with the fact that his love for the assassin's life cannot be denied. When Hutch enraged Kuznetsov, an unsafe cycle of events akin to John Wick began. But he was driven to finish the job because his family's safety was at risk. At first, it appeared that this was a done deal. Hutch was content, almost happy, after receiving the call on his relative's phone, though. This means that someone has an additional job for him after learning that he eliminated Kuznetsov. The song "Let the Good Times Roll" from the Nobody soundtrack closes out these final scenes and may be a signal that Hutch's exploits aren't quite over. The mid-credits scene. Harry and David are shown in the Nobody post-credits sequence undertaking a very specialized task. After escaping the confrontation with the Russian characters in Nobody, the father and son team are where the scene picks up. They appear to be traveling in an RV and have a very clear objective in mind. When the camera panned to the back of the RV, it revealed that it was armed to the teeth. Because David resided in a retirement community, it was previously believed that he had reached retirement age and that Harry had died. These two are obviously back in action, though. They probably had something to do with Hutch's call in the closing scene. Nobody can dispute Hutch's willingness to sacrifice everything for his family, and he enjoys working alongside them. That indicates that Harry and David are probably returning to Hutch's residence to assist him with the completion of this next task. This distinguishes Nobody from other generic shoot-'em-up films. Derek Kolstad, who also penned John Wick and wrote Nobody, is a well-known assassin like Hutch. Wick, meanwhile, is the only person in the world and has nothing to lose. Hutch still has his family, so he has some restrictions that must be disregarded. How a sequel is never set up. The Nobody ending offers the foundation for creating a plot that can span numerous films, unlike many original films that hoped their success would justify a sequel. Nobody creates a compelling internal conflict for Odenkirk's Hutch, a man with a violent background who finds the life of a suburban dad unsatisfying. Although he excels at what he does, each task poses a risk to his family. By making sure that wherever he resides has a secure basement, the ending demonstrates that he has found a sound interim solution, but it won't endure long. Nobody 2 is likely to finally compel Hutch to choose between his family and his job. In Nobody 2, Nobody also causes Hutch to engage in a risky exterior conflict. A man with many connections in the criminal underworld, Kuznetsov. While the Mansells eliminated all the Russians in Nobody's climax, Kuznetsov probably has some allies who are just as powerful. They'll be incensed to learn that Kuznetsov had been killed, so they'll probably pursue Hutch. Hutch will learn who he can trust in Nobody 2 in a manner similar to how John Wick destroys relationships in John Wick Chapter 4. This creates the possibility for numerous films by allowing an unlimited cast of antagonists and allies to pursue Hutch or lend a hand. A Nobody sequel. Nobody 2 is now formally approved by Universal. Odenkirk, RZA, and Christopher Lloyd will be blowing up screens again in the Nobody universe, even if RZA and Lloyd haven't been confirmed to return just yet. The first movie made $56 million off of its meager $16 million budget, and the narrative momentum is setting for a sequel. I think everyone's pretty enthused about that, the producer David Leitch said. The sentiment among all parties is, full steam ahead. We are currently writing the script, and I believe it was a lot of fun to make. The studio loved the results. Kelly McCormick and I had a blast, and it's happening. Given how many films get stuck in development purgatory, greenlighting a film's development doesn't always indicate it will eventually be released. The development of Nobody 2, however, went without a hitch, and filming has already begun. Not only is Nobody 2 confirmed, but according to Bob Odenkirk, production might begin in 2023. We must create a fantastic sequel, the actor continued. Therefore, it's important to ensure that we do it correctly. Nobody 2 could theoretically be released in early 2024, less than 3 years after Nobody, though it is unclear if development has already begun. A John Wick crossover. Longtime admirers of Keanu Reeves and Bob Odenkirk have pondered whether their respective characters would appear in the same films at some point in the future, possibly in a John Wick spin-off. Despite coming from different studios, Nobody's director Ilya Naishuller has hinted that John Wick and Hutch Mansell might share a story universe with opportunities for crossover. When Naishuller spoke to IndieWire, he said that everything's possible and that stranger things have happened. That's not a yes. Instead, it's an invitation to watch the next movie and see what happens. Nobody was a wild revenge adventure that offered similar thrills to John Wick and its sequels, which ultimately became better and made more money with each subsequent release. However, not everything deserves a sequel. These films would make great thematic and tonal partners, and the Keanu Reeves-Bob Odenkirk two-hander would make for some fun chemistry-building exercises. There will be many chances for David Kolstad to develop his own shared universe, whether in Nobody 2 or any subsequent John Wick film or spin-off. So that's all from today's video. If you enjoyed it, remember to leave a like, subscribe, and ring that bell icon, so you never miss our upcoming videos. And don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments section. Stay tuned, and we will catch you in the next video.